we start with the names that we know: Bush, Keela, Claudio, Diekman. Talk about that core group at this point. Tony Barnett. I think what they've been through, what they've learned last few years. Listen, they're going to be better just through pitching in the big leagues and going through the certain situations that they've been through, learning what success feels like, and learning when they've been challenged how to fight through it. They're how to utilize their pitches. And listen, core bullpens, when they go through challenges, they learn what it takes to pitch through those type of situations. This is a group of guys that have not really been through any of that before. They've been through the up and the down. Obviously, we're still working on some of the other names to go in and fill in. But I think that this still has an opportunity to be a solid bullpen.
One of the things. Oh, one more question. Okay. One of the things you do not have is an 8-pitch reliever who's saved 20 games this season in the big league, not counting Barnett.
Correct.
Is that a concern?
Well, I think that what we've learned over the course of a 3-year span, that to find that guy that has been through those type of situations, and they know what it feels like. Because when some of these guys, the challenge was that when they blew a save or we lost the lead, or the challenge of coming back the next day. So obviously we're still looking for that, whether it's internally or externally. But that is one of our challenges.
You bring back Barnett. The bullpen team, you bring back Barnett, and you add, potentially added another. How important in your mind right now is that component of finding a veteran leader for that bullpen? Whether that guy, as Bjorn mentioned, has saved situations in the past, or just the presence.
No, I think that's fair, Evan. That's essentially as we look at our options and try to look to see if there is a fit out there for our ball club that we'd like to be able to have one of those guys in place that you speak about, because there is I think it puts guys in really good spots where they pitched before. When you think about the guys that are in that bullpen right now, and Keela, Diekman, Claudio, Barnett, Bush still continue to work out as a possible starter, length guy. But to have the experience to go and pitch out of that back end is I think is crucial for this ball club.
Was it in your mind palpable that you lacked that last year?
Well, I think the experience side of it. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things that have showed up for us. Showed up early. Showed up. Claudio was able to stabilize that some, and really, if you want to look at a guy that was as crucial to a ball club winning baseball games as anybody, he was a guy because he was able to stabilize it up and down the bullpen. Really, that's. He's so valuable in that role, but he became the guy that was able to close games out for us.
So Jeff, 3 years ago at this time, we were coming out the season where the offense had been much greater around baseball, and a lot of people were predicting that speed was going to become a big part of the game again. Instead, what we've got is a lot of power. So A, why do you think that happened? And B, how important is speed to the game now, relatively speaking?
Well, there's two elements of speed. All right, there's speed on the bases, speed on defense. I see it every day. Really nice concept on television with the StatCast. And, we can track guys now at a greater rate. So I think the element of speed is crucial in the game, whether it's on defense or offense. So you speak of offensively, you still got to be able to score, whether it's from first base, second base, or third base. So you don't want to have all guys that are just all home run, no run. Because when the home runs don't show up, you still got to be able to do something to put runs on the board. As far as the home run rate, guys are hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And that's as simple as that.
No why to be explained?
Yeah, they hit more out of the ballpark than they did in previous years. I mean, that's just as cut dry as you can make it, really.
Prior to the atomic sign, you did discuss the idea of some modified version of rotation.
Right.
You still feel like that is a path you want to explore? I know that you still don't have the full roster, but do you think that that's something you want to leave open, whether it's a 6-man, 4-man?
Yeah, I think, Evan, it's something that really, not just in a 3-year time. I mean, this is something that is, and I don't think I'm the only one that look at this. It's something that when you, there are parts of it that make sense. The schedule makes it challenging. Construction of your roster makes it challenging. You look at the benefits for your rotation, the possible benefits, and then you look at guys when we're able to collect enough data that tells us there are pitchers who definitely benefit for the extra days rest or the routine of being on that 5-day rest period as opposed to a 6-day rest period. You can point to ERAs, you can point to the velos, you can point to walk rates go down, strikeout rates go up. So the challenge again is the schedule. To find the guys who are willing to look at it, to be part of it, wrap their minds around it, because traditionally we're kind of stuck in that 5-man rotation.
Do you feel like you're committed to breaking out of that now?
Look, there are different levels of commitment. Yes, yes.
Gallo, we talked about Gallo last week, not pinned in the position yet. How much flexibility is that giving you guys this off season to look at other areas because he can hop around?
Well, he's got great flexibility as far as where he plays, the athleticism that he gives you in both spots, whether it's on the dirt or in the outfield. In the outfield, the ability to run balls down, big guy, it's athletic. That I think he can play anywhere in the outfield, really. That's how athletic he is. It's just how long term do you want to put him in a spot in the center of the diamond, a big guy out there. I don't. But as far as left field, third base, first base, the ability to save infielders feel comfortable enough to there's challenging plays, go ahead and let go of the ball, get it over there. He's going to come up with it. I think Joe has the athletic ability to be, I believe he's an above average first baseman right now. I mean, look, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that this guy one day, if he's everyday first baseman, gold glove type defense. That's just his range, his ability. But flexibility and looking at other players to add to, yes, I think that's a plus, and it's been one that we've deliberated quite a bit in the room.
We all know about the strikeouts, but you expect that number to go down just as he gets better as it hits. And how much of that is part of your guys' hope that you cut down the strikeouts, the internal? There has to be internal improvement for that.
There has to be internal improvement. I think maturity, what you can't do. You learn the league. You learn what pitchers are trying to do to you. Joe's an athlete. I think learned himself as a hitter. He's a student, so I think that number obviously will shrink just because of that. I think it's going to shrink for all those young guys. Yeah, Odor, Desheed, I think all of them, Mazzara, as they become better players, they learn the league, that number is going to go down. Now, definitely is for some. We'd like to see it not only the strikeouts lower, but the on base. Concentrated effort. It's necessary. Our guys understand that. I think look, we hit we were third in baseball in home runs last year, something like that. So somewhere in that vicinity. We have a lot of room to grow offensively.
What is your assessment of what Rougned Odor needs to do to be better next year?
Yeah, look, that comes down to Rudy he knows what he hits well. He knows where his hot zones are. He knows what it's a full commitment to sticking to that game plan and shrinking the strike zone for him. So the one thing that we did is year one, we really committed him for being able to hit balls out of the strike zone. If you remember, there was a lot of talk about how, man, this guy can hit a lot of different pitches. Now we're talking about now he needs to dial it back in, right? That's kind of it comes down to being able to control the strike zone, but still, the thing that we don't want to do is take the aggressiveness away from a guy that can drive the ball in the gaps and out of the ballpark. Don't want to. I don't want to do that. There's any given pitch that he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But what he swings at, what he sees, the ability to barrel his baseballs up and stay out of the chase zones.
The key word with Ricky to avoid in this whole process being don't or no.
I would think so.
The emphasis is going to be, okay, here is your hot zone. Here is your hot zone. Focus on this, and not worry about, well, you hit 170,
right.
130.
Right. Know what you do well. I mean, I do believe that as we became challenged in certain areas of the baseball game, that there were guys who want to win and contribute, that they probably got out of their own comfort zones and trying to do a little too much. And so we've got to, as a coaching staff, we've got to do better at getting them back into the frame of mind of staying focused on what you do very well and improve on that, as opposed to trying to do more than these guys are capable so much. I hate the phrase, and I've used it before. Don't do more than you're capable of. A few of these guys have reached what they're capable of yet.
Chris Jimenez today, in an interview, was talking to guys from Minnesota, and he said that he got the sense from you, Darvish, that he was maybe not a big fan of some of the rules, clubhouse, or the kangaroo court rule, the aggressive code rules. Did you ever get a feeling from Darvish that he was unhappy with the clubhouse culture?
Look, how does kangaroo court have anything to do with clubhouse culture?
Well, I'm not going to avoid that.
Right. I mean, the things that, we've been committed about our clubhouse culture, and I think that we have a great group of guys inside that clubhouse who are open to everybody who comes in that clubhouse. So, I hadn't got any word of that. So.
What is the chance of Darvish coming back?
Look, Darvish is a great pitcher, a guy that we loved, and he did very well for us. He's a free agent, so right now that's an ongoing process for him. We're searching for starting pitching.
Is that you need one more starting pitcher. How long, whatever size rotation is, you need one more starting pitcher. Does that guy need to be not somebody on the rebound, not somebody coming off rehab, not somebody who's coming off a bed here, somebody who's got a track record that you can count on from day one?
I think JD's done a pretty good job of adding a couple pitchers to this point to our rotation. I think that, you know, as you talk about the question was what we don't want to look for. I think that excludes the potential fits that really have an opportunity to help this ball club. I think we're looking at all options. Would you like to find an established big league pitcher that has a track record? I think every club would like that. TR. It's right now it's finding the fit for this ball club that gives us an opportunity to win baseball games.
The outside perception of narrative that often gets made, whether it's media or fans, is that either you're on one side of the pendulum, either you're all in or you're rebuilding. So now the key phrase is changing. Do you find that there's a third route and that you guys are kind of headed down that third route?
Well, I think you're always retooling to some degree. Evan, I don't. That the word tanking, I'm not familiar with. I've heard that term used before when I turn the radio.
You know, but when I say third, I'm saying not necessarily rebuilding and not necessarily going all in. There's a middle road.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think retooling. There's always that element every year. That's why we show up here for the winter meetings. We all convene and talk about and make trades and sign free agents. There's a retooling aspect to everything we do. The reality is, until you get out and play it on the field, you don't really get to see exactly how that works out for you. But third element, if you want to say it's third, that's fine. But to me, it's just a process of retooling and reshaping to some degree.
What did you tell Ryan Rua in your exit interviews or 2018 and what he should be focused on?
Well, first, I mean, all those exit interview conversations are between myself, JD, and the player. They're very. A lot of them are. We talk about what their off-season routine is, what we feel they need to improve on, what they feel. They talk to us about what they feel they need to improve on, and so it's not generic. It's pretty specific to the individual as far as their time frame, their schedule, coming into spring training. Make sure we have all the phone numbers right so we can contact each other, and then from that point it becomes a period of time where we check in and see how they're doing and see if they're on pace with the things that they set out and talked about that they needed to work on. Well, I think, look. First of all, I think he's has an opportunity to become a tremendous player in Major League Baseball. A great challenge laid out in front of him. That I'm a fan. I can't wait to watch it play out. Well, our scouts tell us a very talented player. Opportunity to sit down and talk with him. Blessed and humbled to be able to do that. The challenges, I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll get a really good look at him, and I'm sure in spring training. The number of times they're in our division, so look, those challenges will present themselves as we get an opportunity to play against them.
Now he's a major league player. Do you think it's possible to actually stay as a two-way player in the major league level?
I'm not going to tell. I'm not. We thought he could. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, I think we have good information on who he is as a player, as a person, and until he gets out on the field of play, look, we'll know more as we play against him.
I think yesterday JD was mentioning a point in time, probably in July, shortly before the deadline, at which time he had mapped out your daily roster, and I think he said 62% of the time you have a three-man bench at that, which means you have at least 8 relievers. Is it feasible in your mind to carry 8 relievers regularly? Could you even try on some occasions 9?
It'd be a challenge. It really would be.
But what about 8?
Yeah, I mean, there's you can do it.
How would you like one of those relievers, the Jose Leclerc, as a guy who's figured it out?
We'd really like for Jose to continue to improve. I thought there were times last year that he showed signs that, look, this is a dynamic arm with swing and miss changeup. One of those guys that as they continue to learn and grow at this level, and listen, those young guys are learning as they pitch. Every pitch out there is a learning experience through them. It's a process that they have to go through. It'd be nice for a guy like that to continue to improve and be part of the mix.
Somebody, we were looking at some fancy numbers. They were explaining to me. He walked 7-point-something batters per 9, but his ERA was under 4. Someone said it was incredible. So then they started showing me some other fancy numbers, and they were pretty eye-popping. And I'm sure you've seen some of these numbers, so I don't know what Todd presents or what he relies on. This kid, I would think, at a high level of intrigue, does he not?
At high level intrigue, just listen, the arm speed, hand speed, spin rate on the baseball, all the things, lack of exit, velo, movements. Listen, this is a guy that can get swing and miss. However, it comes down to consistency of strikes and being able to put command on the baseball. I don't think that'll ever change. That's the same for every single pitcher that walks out there. Is the ability, how well they command the baseball. But Jose Leclerc is one of those guys. The way he profiles out, the stuff he hits a lot of the check boxes that you want to see from a reliever.
The one checkbox that he hasn't checked with emotion is the command. And it seems like every guy that he would added so far this winter is a big strike thrower, low walk rate, at least in one guy's case in Japan. That is a significant element of how you guys have approached remaking the pitching staff.
I think, look, when we do kind of a critical analysis of the team and where we were and where we felt like we needed to improve, talked about at the end of the year last year, there were 2 areas on both sides, offensively and defensively, is the ability to command the strike zone in the batter's box and the ability to command the strike zone off the mound. So when you look at it, one of the first things that you can do is you go out and profile guys out that you feel like that are better in that department. So yeah, we feel like that we've done some of that. Now we also believe that there are guys out there that are going to continue to improve in that area as well, guys that we have internally.
But that is, as you continue to plow through the offseason, that is a key element of acquisition, purchases and acquisitions.
Well, I would think so. I think that that's part of it. Yeah, it's part of the way we view and kind of analyze players. Yeah.
I would say that, I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out, 50% of the time in your post-game press conferences that had to deal with a loss, one of the first things you say was 5 walks, 6 walks. That's like almost the first thing you go to after a loss, is it not?
Yeah. Well, look, when you think about the free battle on both sides, whether it's given away or taken. When you're upside down on one of them, the win percentage goes down significantly. So the ability to control that, if you will, whether it's ball strike ratio, less walks off the mound, more walks in the batter's box. And it's not about, in the batter's box just looking to walk. No, it's take advantage of the walk that's in front of you. But it's also not giving those up. I mean, they go together.
I mean, it drives you crazy. I mean, there'll be nights when there'll be some weird, controversial play we all want to talk about and say, yeah, that happened, but I go back to 5 walks. I mean, how much is that driving you crazy?
Well, I don't know that it drives me crazy. Listen, I listened to the radio when I was a kid, and I used to listen to managers talk about the exact same things about, pitchers command the strike zone and shrinking the walk number. So 2018, it's kind of the same process.
That part of the game hasn't changed.
I don't think so.
Is there any? Go ahead.
Well, while we're talking about walks, I haven't brought it up. Chris Martin, he walked single-digit guys the last couple of years in Japan. Have you talked to him? Are you familiar with him? Or are you going to kind of discover him in spring training?
Well, I've had a conversation with Chris Martin. I don't think I don't know that we have announced anything on Chris Martin. So. I don't.
Infrequently.
I don't have anything hypothetically to tell you there, Levi.
Is there any player left on the market that would cause you the same amount of exuberance as really good season George Strait comes?
Why you bring up George Strait?
I don't know. Somebody almost was like drunk tweeting the other night from a George Strait.
No, there's no such thing. I mean, I enjoyed George Strait. Yes.
But you feel like you're making progress in acquisitions.
We
I mean, like you said, the guys who are coming back have to get better, but you've made strides in the guys that you're bringing in. I mean, the guys that we can't talk about are all quote-unquote strikeout.
Yes.
Is that like I mean, like JD, on the one guy that you brought in, he said, we asked him about it, he says, yeah, he's got great makeup and he's a strike thrower. That's all he said. Is that like 1-2 and everything else is?
Well, I think there's a balance there, T.O. I do. Look, there are some dynamic arms guys that they have control, and they don't have high walk rates, but they've got stuff, and it's pretty dynamic and it's swing and miss, and that's how they limit their number of walks. And then there are guys who have great command of the baseball, throw strikes, and have the ability to get hitters out. And I think those were trying to find the right mix to put on the team so that if there's a challenge on any given night, we do have some guys that we can utilize that will throw strikes and have give our defense a chance to play.
That is a key element, particularly on the bullpen side.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if there's another way to reinforce that.
No.